Yo, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, this is for you. I am my number one fan. For you, I am my number one fan. I'm trying to get you from here to there. I'm trying to show niggas it ain't fair. How I just came up, but you not there. Stuck in the same situation you been in. They got the plug, you got the sound. You not just a groupie that's hanging around. They got the stage, but you bring the lights. It's enough room at the top, we ain't gotta fight. I am my number one fan. I am that legend you stand.
Hey y'all, he's Reese.
That's Arnold.
And we are the Neighbors Podcast.
Yes.
So listen, y'all, you know, we usually bring a lot of good stuff to you guys, a lot of good information, a lot of good community-based information. But every so often, we do get an opportunity to have a good interview. So, you know, with this interview that Reese did, unfortunately, I had to take care of some other business. You know, I'm always taking care of something else.
Right.
But Reese had a very good interview with this person. So I'm going to let him tell you about it real quick.
This person is a legend in her own right.
Icon.
And she is very down to earth. I just want y'all to sit back and enjoy yourselves.
Yes, because you're listening to the GOAT of her field, y'all. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Miss Starr Cullars.
Starr Cullars. All right, y'all.
Enjoy the interview, y'all.
Hey, y'all, this is Reese. This is your boy from the Neighbors Podcast. Today, we have a special guest. And this special guest, she doesn't know that I've been admiring her from afar for quite some time because I've known her sister for some time. She is the only woman to ever become the female musician instrumentalist member of the Parliament Funkadelic. And she was chosen, she was named by Paul Stanley of KISS and Mark Hudson to be the Queen of Rock. I present to y'all none other than my big sister, Starr Cullars.
Hey, everybody. How you doing out there today?
Yo, we are so blessed to have you on this show today. We appreciate this very much.
Thank you. I appreciate being here, and it is a blessing for sure.
Thank you. So let me ask you this, big sis. Starr, what inspired you to be a musician?
Oh, that's a good one. Outside of just insanity and craziness, got to put that in first. I asked for an acoustic guitar when I was 5 years old from my father, and neither one of my parents were necessarily musicians. My mother sings in church, and my father was a very entertaining host type person. Of course, they were both educators, which you probably know.
Yeah.
And, kind of looked at me like, how does this child know what that is? They got me a little plastic toy. I strummed the plastic toy and handed it back to my father and said, I want a real guitar.
Wow.
He looked at like, what? So he went to the music store and got me a little nylon acoustic Yamaha acoustic guitar, which I still have. And I started to play, and then he put me into guitar lessons, and I started studying cello and viola. And then I started playing from acoustic guitar. I started playing bass on my acoustic, and then some very wise musicians around me said that I needed a bass guitar because I was playing bass. So around 13, 14, got my first bass guitar, and by 15, I had a jazz copy and was on my way. So I kind of early on as a kid, as a teenager, just knew that I was a musician. And,
nice. Wow.
And I was going to figure out how to make a living or be in this thing, but I knew from a child that I was a musician straight up. That was it, That was
wow.
it. Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of insane.
That's nice. That's nice. How now? Any musicians at that age influenced you, or any type of music genres or anything influenced you at that time?
You know, when I was growing up during that awesome 70s and 80s period when the music was just absolutely the best that's ever been on the planet in every genre, I was just fortunate to grow up hearing that. My father had records across the board from Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk to the Rolling Stones and Jimi Hendrix to Santana to Marvin Gaye and the Isley Brothers. You know what I mean? So I grew up like literally in this plethora of all this great music and musicians, and I just started from hearing all that, just started like zoning in to what kind of moved me. And funk and R&B, obviously, you know, growing up in Philadelphia, we all grew up listening to WDAS, and we all know the songs that DAS played around the clock, so that was a part of it. But then in my teen years, I just became a Prince disciple. Literally, and I have a very, very unique connection and story with Prince that I'll gladly share with you. But he was one of those main influences to me and a few other bass players and things like that. But
so I was asked to speak to you about your adventures with Prince. You know, how were you able to meet him, someone, like that, Prince on that level,
It was
and work with him.
It was it absolutely brought me into being a professional musician and molded and changed my entire life. While I was in college at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, I was a communications major. I was minoring in music. And, by this time I'm playing with college bands and, neighborhood bands. And, you're just kind of getting your craft together and learning and growing. And I had already started writing songs. Okay. By this point, I'm already like a young songwriter, learning how to become a songwriter. And I had a couple of demos that I had already recorded with the help of some engineer, producer friends, and this is like 4-track recording. Okay, wow. This is the end of the 80s. You know what I mean? Right. So none of this digital stuff. No computers, no cell phones, none of that crap. So I'm like on cassette tapes and you know what I mean, real pictures and real packages and stuff. You had to call people on the phone and mail stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. You had to physically mail packages. Yeah, you had to physically mail packages and put them together. So it was a whole nother lifestyle. So, when, excuse me, Prince had just gotten Paisley Park. Okay. This is like 1988, going into 89. And I'm like in my senior year, extended stuff because I'm like a double major, trying to decide if I'm going to get my MBA now or later, which I'm doing later now. But it's funny, right? So I sent demos to him, to his Paisley Park label, and I got the traditional rejection letters that they would send out to people if they actually listen to your music. Okay. And I got like a couple of them saying, we're undecided about what to do with you. You're talented, but we don't know, blah, blah. It's standard crap. Right. So I refused to hear it. So I decided that I was going to, instead of getting presents and things for Christmas that year, I was going to borrow money from my dad to drive to Minneapolis, to go to Paisley Park, and go find Prince and get a deal. Wow. Now, this was insane because people were like, you going to drive to Minneapolis? You're right. I said, yeah, I'm driving up there. I'm going to find him, and I'm going to get a deal from Prince.
Wow.
Needless to say, everybody's like, okay, she's straight crazy. Well, my father was the crazier one because he gave me the money. He said, don't sign nothing till you call me. I said, bet. Got in the car, drove us through a snowstorm.
I'm about to say, the weather had to be crazy.
And this was December 88. And going up to Minneapolis after I left Philly, from Pittsburgh to Minneapolis, believe me, it was insane. Drove through a snowstorm with my roommate, my little Italian roommate, Armand. We get there. I find his house, his mansion. He had a big purple windmill in the back of his mansion, his estate. And his estate was around the corner from Paisley Park. So I drove up to his estate, went up to the guard gate, had little packages with me. I gave them to the guard. He was like, well, I can't let you in, but Paisley Park is around the corner this way if you want to go find him. I said, bet. Thank you. So got back in the car, drove, found Paisley Park. The gates were open, drove in, parked next to his BMWs, because Prince used to have these custom BMWs in his personal parking space at Paisley Park. So I drove next to his car. I would write these notes. It said, Dear Prince, I drove 17,000 miles to give you my demo tape. Peace and love, Starr Cullars. And I would put these notes on his car, on the windshield, in the car seat, if the car was open. I was crazy. And then the guards would come and throw me out, throw us out, so we get thrown out. So I kept doing this for like 3 days.
Okay.
So finally, I had already become pen pal, phone pals with Eric Leeds, the sax player, and Matt Bliston, the trumpet player from the MPG. So, because they lived in Pittsburgh, and Eric Leeds went to Duquesne University.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So, yeah, right. So, I called his family and lied and told them I was a touring musician and I was going to be in Minneapolis and I need his address and phone number before I go back to Paris. And they gave it to me. I'm good. So,
he's determined.
You know what I mean? They gave it to me. So, I start calling up Eric and Matt, telling me, hey, I got this demo I'm trying to get to Prince. Y'all got to take it. So I was sending them my demo stuff. They were like, oh, Prince is mad because he just lost all this money with Maserati because they suck. And he's mad because he done lost all this money with these acts and ain't brought him nothing. So we in the studio getting ready to go on tour, and they were finishing the Love Sexy record. I said, well, I know Maserati suck, but can you get my demo to it? So they were like, oh, we'll see what we can do. So I drove out there. So now I call them and say, hey, man, I'm here in Minneapolis. Miles Davis was there before he died, and he was there for New Year's Eve. So they told me, they said, look, Miles Davis is here for the New Year's Eve party. As soon as it's over, we'll let you come in and visit. I was like, cool. So I went back to my little boarding room, staying at the University of Minnesota, waited till after New Year's, go back out there. This time I don't get kicked out the parking lot. I get invited. I get into Paisley Park, and it's like walking into heaven, like, you know what I mean? Like there's mist and shit, and gold is floating in the air, and I'm like, oh, Paisley Park, oh my God, like Valhalla, like, oh my God. Right. I'm like now scouring for him. I see all these other people, Levi Caesar, Sheila E., Chad Glover, finally here comes the manager with Prince. And I almost run him over, okay? I literally almost knocked him down running to him. And he looks up, and the manager, now they know that I'm a friend of Eric Leeds and Matt Bliston, so they're like, oh, this young girl's a bass player friend of Eric and Matt Bliston from Pittsburgh. She's a student, You can go ahead and talk to him, honey, for 15 minutes. And the manager gave me permission, left me stand there with Prince. It's me and him standing there staring at each other. He's staring at me. I'm staring at him. He's in shock. He can't believe there's this girl who's taller than him with a bass guitar on her shoulder and a bag full of cassette demo tapes standing in front of him.